The San Diego Chargers defeat the Denver Broncos 21-13. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. San Diego Chargers defeat the Denver Broncos 21-13. And man, I trusted the Broncos. I had them winning. I had them covering here. It was one of my guarantees, but unfortunately I was incorrect today as the San Diego Chargers won and defeated the Denver Broncos. Although I'm not that upset. I'm not that angry because I'm actually a pretty big fan of Philip Rivers. And you could see again today, man, this guy, in the first half especially, in the first quarter especially, man, this guy's freaking good, man. This guy was so masterful, so accurate, so on point in the first half, in the first quarter, on the first drive. Absolutely pinpointing ball placement was on point to Tyrell Williams over his head, to Hunter Henry time and time again. Led the Chargers down the field for a touchdown. Led the Chargers down the field for a field goal. They were up 10-0. And then after that, in the second half, they had some issues. They weren't quite on the same page, and he wasn't quite as accurate. But man, in the first quarter, in the first half, he was so good. And we already know that he's such a humble guy, such a nice guy. And I said in my last Chargers recap, you guys, this guy's not going anywhere. You can say Philip Rivers needs to leave San Diego. He needs to leave. He needs to go somewhere better. This guy ain't going nowhere. He loves the San Diego Chargers. Look at his post-game interview. He's talking as if he is the team because he's been with the team for so damn long. He loves this team. He ain't going nowhere. And it was nice to see him get a W here today. But as for the Denver Broncos, look, this game to me came down to one thing why they really lost this game, why they were never really competitive in this football game. I mean, you can buy that they had a chance to win this game, but I really don't buy that. I thought after the first quarter, man, they just did not have the offensive firepower to win this game. But number one, penalties. I thought the penalties today were absurd, especially for this football team that won the Super Bowl this year. You should not be seeing this many penalties. They had about either 10 or 12 penalties today for 103 yards, while the Chargers had only 3 penalties for 20 yards. That is a difference in this football game because the Denver Broncos, they got more yards than the San Diego Chargers today by about 40 yards. The Broncos had over 300 yards. The Chargers only had about 260, okay? So you're talking about the Denver Broncos outgaining the San Diego Chargers, but not ending up with a victory just because of penalties. And I think some of this has to fall on the interim head coach today, Joe DeCamillis, who's filling in for Gary Kubiak. I'm not sure if they just weren't disciplined under this guy for whatever reason, but this is not a team that is usually giving up these kind of penalties. They did it today. Aqib Talib had a huge pass interference call. Derek Wolfe had a huge roughing the passer call. And also, they had some fumbles, man. Demaryius Thomas, this guy continues to be so inconsistent. I mean, this guy can have over 100-yard games, but I feel like whenever the primetime lights are on, he just has these boneheaded plays like the fumble that we saw in the fourth quarter. Horrible fumble, man. You know you're about to get hit. These are the number one type of fumbles that irritate me the most. When you know you're about to get hit, you can see this guy. You're like, yeah, I'm about to get into a football contact with this guy. Watch as I fumble the football. What? You know you're about to hit this guy. You know this guy's about to hit you. Put 2 hands and cover this football because you know you love to fumble the football. Demaryius Thomas, this should be no shock to you. He fumbled the football. We had 4 fumbles today, 2 on each team. We also had Denver Broncos fumbling Jordan Taylor. This guy that barely on the field, he fumbles the football. And then for the San Diego Chargers, Travis Benjamin. And this guy is going to end up with over 1,100, maybe even 1,200 yards. And people are going to say, oh, look how good Travis Benjamin is. Man, that guy's too inconsistent for me. Fumbles continue to be an issue. I don't think he's very good at catching contested passes. I don't think he's very good at that. I think he's just a product of Philip Rivers just giving him so much volume. I don't think Travis Benjamin is that good. You just can't keep fumbling like this, Travis Benjamin. And also Kenny Wiggins, an offensive lineman number 79 for the San Diego Chargers, fumbling on a safety punt return, in which the Broncos punting the ball to the San Diego Chargers. This guy decides, oh yeah, I'm a punt returner. Let me fair catch this. Well, whoops, I can't catch. This is such a shock to me. Why is it such a shock to you? You're a freaking offensive lineman. Of course you can catch. Horrible play by Kenny Wiggins there. We move on to Trevor Siemian, who I thought had some struggles today. I thought the passing game for this Denver Broncos team wasn't very crisp, and I don't think it's really been all season. They've won their games. They beat the Bucs, they beat the Bengals, but there's just some inconsistency here. They really don't have that much of an identity passing wise. They want to run it, and I think C.J. Anderson, he has his identity. He's tough to bring down. He loves to run in between the numbers, in between the tackles. That's great. But I feel like with Trevor Siemian in this passing offense, they're very inconsistent. I don't think they have a goal in mind a lot of times. Yeah, you want to go down the field and score a touchdown, but how are we going to do that? Are we going to spread the receivers out? Are we going to throw outside of the numbers? Are we going to throw inside of the numbers? They really don't have a passing game identity. I think Gary Kubiak needs to work on that when they get back, and also Rick Dennison, the offensive coordinator, as well, because it just seems a little inconsistent, and he and Emmanuel Sanders and Demarius Thomas just are not always gelling, just are not always on the same page, and Gary Kubiak needs to work with them to really get on the same page. Also, Emmanuel Sanders today, he had an injury. He had to leave for a number of plays, ended up leaving for the whole game. That hurts, but I don't think that's the reason they lost today. I say it was penalties. I say Trevor Siemian was, not very sharp in this passing game, really wasn't very sharp, and they were just down early, and they didn't possess the offensive firepower to come back, and then they had mistakes. The Demarius Thomas fumble, the Jordan Taylor fumble, and they allowed the Chargers to get field goal. The safety play, a huge penalty on the offensive lineman there. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Matt Paradis or something there, but, that hurt as well. Just not crisp, just not sound by the Denver Broncos at all, and this is not something that we expect from the team that won the Super Bowl this year. So with that in mind, let's look to the future. Now, for this San Diego Chargers team, it's fascinating. Despite their 1-4 record, we know what was their 1-4 record before this game, these guys have a positive point differential this season. Now it's even more positive, okay? They're giving up less points than they're scoring. So that would indicate that they're better than a 500 team, but they just can't finish games. But if this can be a turning point for this football team, this is going to be very intriguing to watch. Because you have to remember, outside of Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates, this is a very, very young football team. We're talking about a lot of integral players for this football team being very young. Melvin Gordon, Jatavis Brown, who had a great game today, by the way. This guy was flying all over the place. I didn't love when they drafted him, but he's proving me wrong because that guy was great. Had a huge sack, had a huge tackle for loss, had like 14 tackles. Huge was Jatavis Brown. Guys like Joey Bosa, guys like Denzel Perryman, Teo, who's out right now, but he's another young guy. Melvin Gordon, Jeremiah Otauchu, Kyle Emmanuel. They're so young. They need to learn how to develop. They need to know how to win games, learn how to win games. And Mike McCoy, obviously on the hot seat. This will help, keep that off of him for a while. But honestly, I think he should stay around. I really do. I understand you guys are sick of him losing games, Chargers fans. You guys are sick of losing games. You're sick of him for, some dumb things that he does. But I think it's really the youth that's hurting this football team right now. But once you have Hunter Henry developing over the years, Jatavis Brown developing over the years, Joey Bosa developing over the years, I think you may have something here. Now, hopefully that's not by the time Phillip Rivers retires, okay? But we'll see what happens as the season moves on. Next week, you guys have a tough game as you guys go to Atlanta and face the Atlanta Falcons. Not easy at all. Now, the Falcons look really tough right now, but again, you guys have been in every single game this season. The only game that was not even close was the one that you won when you blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? So this, I think, is going to be another close game. Can you finish? We'll see. And then at Denver, after facing Denver today, you have to go at Denver only 17 days from this moment. And we'll see if you can win that one. I doubt it, but who knows? I didn't think you guys were going to win today, and you did. So we'll see what happens there. And then I think you have two gimmies, two easy games as you host the Tennessee Titans and you host the Miami Dolphins. And look, I'm a Titans fan. You're a better team than us, man. I don't think it's very close at all. So I like the Chargers to win both of these, but can they get there? We'll see. Will Mike McCoy be there when they get there? We shall see. And as for the Denver Broncos, as we look to the future, this sucks because this was your first divisional game and it's an L, okay? And the Oakland Raiders, they are 4-1. We'll see if they can beat the Chiefs this week because I don't have them doing so. But if they do, they're going to have a one-game lead and you guys haven't faced them yet. And let me tell you this. They're going to beat you. They're going to beat you at least once and maybe twice, man. Maybe. Derek Carr knows how to win games right now. That should be scaring the hell out of you. Yes, you can look at this team and say, oh my God, their defense stinks, and you're correct. Derek Carr knows how to win games right now. You will lose to the Oakland Raiders at least once, and we'll see what happens when the Kansas City Chiefs play y'all, because we don't really know about the Chiefs right now. They got blown out by the Steelers. They lost to the Texans, and then they won some nice games as well. So we'll find out about the Chiefs. But for now, I still like you guys to make the playoffs. But the AFC West, I had the Raiders winning before the season. I had them winning right now during the season. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Thursday night football game between the Denver Broncos and the San Diego Chargers. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.